Now, years ago, people were hyped. If there was even like one billionaire saying, I'm buying Bitcoin, people would go crazy. Now we are having the biggest institutions, the biggest banks, the biggest governments in the world supporting digital asset infrastructure.
And when you think about all the people who send money, they may work in one country, send money back home. They generally do that through organizations that charge 5 to 10%. Yeah. There is a need, whether it's a Libra or something else, to democratize the exchange of foreign currencies. Today, with computers and electronic market,
there shouldn't be that.
It should be 10 basis points, 5 basis points.
That
it's not sense. Percent. And so I actually believe the idea around Libra, I don't think we need to create a new currency, but the technology to instantaneous calibrate all the currencies, that should be done.
Who gets squished by that? Who are the middlemen who are making money on that?
The banks.
We're making, as the Bitcoiners would say, that's progress for you. At least to get to the point where you're saying that about Libra. No, you're still not saying that about Bitcoin.
I think Bitcoin has
blockchain.
Bitcoin
I don't know if Libra is blockchain. They haven't decided. It might do that.
It has to be some form of that.
It's just like,
but there is a huge need to bring down the fees of the interchange.
And I will remind you that recently it was disclosed that both Fidelity and BlackRock each invested $200 million in the Series F of Circle. That is a huge vote of confidence in the middle of all of this volatility. We're talking about the equity of the company. And so they're the most conservative money managers on earth, putting a bet forward on Circle becoming at least one of the regulated cryptocurrencies that are stable. And so at the end of the day, they have the risk too. We all have risk. But if I have to bet, I'll invest beside Fidelity and BlackRock, and that's exactly what I did.
What's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another cryptocurrency update. All links are in the YouTube video description, and let's kick it off. First things first, as we can remember, the March 2020 crash where altcoins crashed harder than ever in an extremely short period of time. Then shortly after, roughly 1 month later, NASDAQ announces that they're collaborating with R3 on institutional grade offerings for digital asset exchanges. This is cryptocurrency and capital markets, the big money. Now, of course, R3, Corda, you can think XTC and a variety of digital assets. Corda is one of the biggest platforms in the game. Now we have announced Coinbase has been selected by BlackRock, one of the biggest custodians in the world with $10 trillion AUM, to provide Aladdin clients access to crypto trading and custody via Coinbase Prime. So Coinbase and BlackRock will be creating a new access point for institutional crypto adoption by connecting Coinbase Prime and Aladdin. Coinbase Prime is trusted by over 13,000 institutional clients. Trade execution for 200 assets, custody for more than 300. We have prime financing, staking, and staking infrastructure, data and analytics, and reporting. And look at this, Coinbase Prime, with an integrated platform via APIs to offer crypto-related products such as ETPs, exchange-traded products, and ETFs. Now, the clip I shared at the beginning of this video was an older clip that I shared on YouTube previously. That was the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, basically describing XRP, the digital asset's exact use case without naming XRP. Overseeing 10 trillion, making it the largest money manager in the world. Now, I also shared that clip of Kevin O'Leary, and what did he say? He said that BlackRock and Fidelity each invested $200 million into Circle. You can learn more at circle.com. We can see USDC payments and treasury infrastructure. So that's a total of $400 million backed by BlackRock and Fidelity, two of the biggest organizations in the world, betting on USDC as the stablecoin. Now, who's connected to Circle in USDC? We can think Stellar, Hedera, Algorand, Solana, AVAX, and many more. Next up, we have Algorand. Big news from the Algorand Foundation. They have launched a $50 million blockchain research and education program. Also on Stellar.org, introducing Stellar Ramps. Access Stellar's on and off ramps with a single integration. So Stellar Ramps is the latest enterprise use case available on the network. Along with some recent updates making building and moving value on and off the Stellar blockchain as easy as possible. Now pay attention right here, Bitso. Bitso uses USDC on Stellar. Notice on and off ramps between the US dollar and the Mexican peso, a low-cost bridge asset. We're going to cover Bitso more in the future because there is a massive announcement. Next up by Matthew Liny, the Reserve Bank of India is deploying blockchain technology for smoother payments across borders. Open banking and technology partners are Ripple-enabled platforms. This new use case may be XRP-enabled. And why do we think that? Well, first off, Dr. Rajan, the former governor of this entire bank, the Reserve Bank of India, one of the largest countries in the world, was speaking at Swell, alongside many people including Navin Gupta of Ripple, talking about the future of CBDC infrastructure. Now let's think logically, why would he be sitting at Swell speaking at Ripple's annual event if there was no plan to utilize RippleNet or XRP? To me, this has been part of the plan all along. India is tapping blockchain technology for overseas payments. A blockchain-based cross-border payment system leveraging the current infrastructure and ensures frictionless and tamper-proof monitoring capabilities. We also have this platform right here, open, bank limitlessly. We can see a few partners below, including Visa, Axis Bank, and Yes Bank. Right on Axis Bank's website, in 2017, we can see that Axis launches Ripple-powered instant payment services for retail and corporate customers. Ripple-enabled frictionless payments experience 5 years ago, and notice that they're using the same verbiage. So we see Axis Bank. Let's do another Google search right here, Yes Bank, and we'll type in Ripple. Watch this. Yes Bank has signed a partnership with Ripple to help facilitate inbound remittances from North America, the Middle East. Let's check this out. And right on Yes Bank's website, who's the author of this? Navin Gupta, Managing Director, South Asia and Middle East and Northern Africa region of Ripple in 2018. As we know, SWIFT, decades old, 1973 network, connected more than 11,000 financial institutions in over 200 countries. An average international payment takes 3 to 5 days, and 4% of payments using SWIFT fail right now. That means 4 out of every 100 payments never make it to their destination, and they have no idea where it went. That's laughable. And right here on Ripple's website, check this out. 10 more financial institutions join Ripple. Back in 2017, what do we have? Axis Bank and Yes Bank. And both of those groups were named right here. Next up, shared by the invested captain. So for anybody that's concerned about the private ledger and thinking that there's going to be 2 different prices of XRP, we have David Schwartz of Ripple actually clearing things up with Thinking Crypto. Essentially, he just says the value of XRP will be the same on the private ledger as it is on the public ledger. The answer is yes. 2 different prices on a private and public ledger would just be a crazy arbitrage opportunity, and eventually those prices would reach equilibrium and be the same. So for anybody worried thinking, oh man, XRP's at 30 cents, but on the private ledger it's $589 or $10,000. That won't be the case in my opinion, not financial advice, but if the private ledger had a much higher value, then everybody would be buying from the public ledger and then selling on the private ledger. So eventually those prices would reach equilibrium. I'm seeing some people that got into XRP in the last 2 years and they're talking about things that were already talked about 5 years ago. So I'm happy that David Schwartz clears this up yet again. Next up for the HBAR ecosystem. So remember, their DEX is going live today. Their decentralized exchange, which is Saucer Swap Labs. Now we have another piece of news right here. It is now possible, check this out, we have web23.hbar smart domains. One secure DNS platform for all of your domains and profiles tokenized on Hedera. Supported by the HBAR Foundation. So check this out, we have a domain alice.hbar to send funds to bob.hbar without having to use a wallet ID in this special moment captured on video with Blade Wallet. So you can type in the address instead of the numbers, you can actually just say bob.hbar, so an email address for money. And of course that actually just connects right to your address. You can add a note and send it, boom. And this is what I imagine the future of every single layer 1 blockchain. This is how easy it should be. Now, in the beginning of the video, we just shared Fidelity and BlackRock, each $200 million, a total of $400 million invested into Circle in the USDC ecosystem. We have BlackRock connecting to Coinbase. Now, years ago, people were hyped. If there was even like one billionaire saying, I'm buying Bitcoin, people would go crazy. Now we are having the biggest institutions, the biggest banks, the biggest governments in the world supporting digital asset infrastructure. I know that Bitcoin crashed. Perspective is a hell of a thing, but do not forget how big this market will one day be. So this crypto-themed ETF seeks to provide access to the growing global crypto ecosystem along with benefits of transparency and low cost that investors and advisors expect from Schwab ETFs. Schwab Asset Management managed approximately $575 billion, crazy, and $34 billion on a non-discretionary basis. Earlier this year, $4.1 trillion financial giant Fidelity Investments also released its own crypto-themed funds. So we're seeing a common theme. We're seeing Charles Schwab, we're seeing Fidelity, 4.2 trillion, and then BlackRock, 10 trillion. Trillions and trillions and trillions. Next up by Rath Economin, the Payments Association has a digital currencies education project seeking to produce thought leadership content in which they distinguish XRP and stablecoins from volatile assets like Bitcoin. Interesting. So remember, Saucer Swap Labs on the Hedera ecosystem, the first DEX is going live. This is Hedera's DeFi Summer. Anybody can use the Hashpack app. It's hashpack.app. This is a Hedera wallet that can swap tokens, provide liquidity, and farm in less than 1 week. Now this was 2 days ago. In just a few hours, this DEX, Saucer Swap Labs, has exceeded over $3 million in total value locked. Wow. In 1 hour ago, they've exceeded over $5 million. Now, if you caught my previous video, we went over DeFi and DeFiLlama.com talking about just 2 years ago. I mean, even May 2020, like all the way right, let's see, right over here. I mean, look how tiny we are. We're at $1 billion total value locked. Before that, we were actually under $1 billion at 900 million. Now, TVL today is at $68 billion. We are sitting after a massive crash. In the future, this valuation, TVL, total value locked between some of the top blockchain networks, will be measured in the trillions. Do not forget how much money that DeFi aims to unlock. Also with Moonbeam, so I heard about Sam Bankman-Fried really backing Solana, saying it's good that Solana is really pushing the boundaries of a layer 1, although it is breaking, and that's unfortunate. It's helping pave the way for better blockchain networks or improvements for Solana. Now, me personally, I have a bias. I'm not super interested in Solana. Maybe that's stupid of me, mainly because it's done over a 500x in the past 2 years. I know that it's broken more than like 4 or 5 times. And for me, I don't want a blockchain network that is down 24 hours. I know it's pushing the boundaries. I know it's a first mover in the space, but for me, I don't want to hold anything that did a 500x in 2 years, just like Terra Luna did over a 900x. And I'm basing it off of the market cap and room for growth as well. Now, maybe in a few years' time, Solana can kick butt. Maybe I'm wrong, but guess what? I'm still going to do well in other altcoins. So we have Moonbeam or Glimmer. This is another pick of mine, and as we can see under APIs and tools, they are partnered with API 3, partnered with a variety of oracles as well, a variety of parachains, and a $100 million DeFi fund that is also backed by Arrington. We can see Alliance Block, we have Frax. It's a pretty big ecosystem. We have Ledger, and this is a young asset. And in terms of historical data per the chart, this is less than 1 year old. So worst case is that we have to be really patient with this one. Here's some crazy perspective. Back in July 2020, 2 years ago, Bitcoin was trading under $11,000 at $10,995. And 2 years ago, at this time, this is when Bitcoin was actually moving and went above 10K for the first time after the March 2020 crash. And CZ Binance, CEO of Binance, says, yep, people get used to higher prices immediately. There is no limit. Nowadays, 20K BTC is an absolute bloodbath. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe. All links can be found in my Linktree linked in the video description, and I will catch you in the next one.